aside from my soul.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We got a new machine in the shop here, so I just picked this thing up last night. Ended up trading some stuff for it. A trade for a trade for a trade kind of a deal. We got here a 94 RM 125, and it is in pretty bad shape, to be honest. I'm not sure if I did a good trade here or not, but yeah. So 94 RM 125, it does run. It's kind of got some issues. Right side case leaks. The guy put a new chain on it, but put the adjusters all the way at the back, so now it's loose, obviously, so we got to readjust that, cut the chain. We're gonna have to do a bunch of little stuff, like, you know, maybe fix this random blasted hole in the airbox. Don't know why that's there. Maybe someone thought they were gonna get half a horsepower or something doing that. But yeah, so the plan for this bike is we're gonna clean it up. I'm not gonna restore it or anything like that, but I'm gonna clean it up, make it fairly nice, all new plastics. We're gonna paint that pipe, blah blah blah, and make it look pretty good. And my end goal here is I'd like to trade for a 250. I'm not really a big 125 guy. I'm not a big fan of them, but for the meantime, it'll be all right. I'll ride it until it gets traded, or if it doesn't get traded, I'll just maybe sell it after the fact. But for now, we got this thing. We're going to bring this in the garage and start doing some little things on it. It's your typical motocross bike from the 90s that's never been maintained in its life. It needs all kinds of little things. Pretty sure its silencer is the wrong silencer. Very long. We're going to chop that right about there. So we're going to chop and shorten that silencer. It does have a Bill's pipe on it, which is pretty cool. And it does run, but that's kind of where the good things end. Carbs leaking gas everywhere, front sprocket shot. Typical stuff, nothing I'm too concerned about, but I'll fire it up here. At least you can hear the thing run before we bring it in. It doesn't normally idle. I say that and now it's idling, but yeah. Shut this thing off. We're going to bring this in the garage and start kind of assessing what we need to order here and parts I got to get. So yeah, let's roll this thing in. We'll take a closer look at it. All right, guys, we're really getting into it now. I got this thing blown apart. I got parts everywhere. So we took the pipe off real quick, gave it a coat of high temp paint. We're gonna let that dry. I had about a 16th of a can left trying to make it work, so I don't know. I probably got to get another can of paint. Air filter, actually, surprisingly, like mint. It looks like a new filter, but they didn't oil it. It's totally dry, so we're gonna pull that off and oil it. Everything else so far came out okay. There's mismatched bolts everywhere and missing bolts, typical stuff, but I haven't seen anything actually like too bad or bent or broken. Nothing that concerning. Rad's a little tweaked, but a lot better than most bikes I've seen. It ain't even that bad. This rad's actually mint, which is surprising. So right now, this is what you hear in the background. I got the ultrasonic cleaner warming up. So I just took the carb all apart, sprayed it down really quick. It was totally filthy, but you'll see when this comes out of the ultrasonic, it looks like a brand new carb. It's ridiculous. So I haven't done it yet, but I'm gonna blow all my jets out and all my passageways with the air compressor. We're gonna put it in the ultrasonic, and then we're gonna blow them all out again and then put it in. One quick tip, guys, this is the best thing ever. I do this for everything I take apart now. Once you got the carb apart, write down your air screw, how many turns out. Write your jet size, your main and your pilot. You think you're not going to need this information, you think you're not, and then you put the whole bike back together, and then, oh, it kind of doesn't run right. And then you go, well, what kind of jets are this thing supposed to have in it? And then you look online and you find the jets. But guess what? You didn't write it down, so you don't even know what's in it. So you got to take it apart again. So that's a real good tip, guys. When you got your carb apart, write down your jet sizes and stuff, because you'll almost always need it later on down the road, and you're not going to want to pull the carb apart to figure it out again. But anyways, let's get that carb ultrasonic cleaned, and we'll see where else we get on this thing today. I was kind of talking down on this thing earlier, you know, saying it's a piece of junk and stuff. It's actually not bad. I'm going to show you one thing that I always check for when I'm looking at old bikes, except I say that and then I didn't check when I got this thing until now. But when you look at the bike, look at all the engine case bolts. See how these got like the factory style bolts on it? See that? See them all the way around? Those factory bolts. It doesn't have a bunch of like Canadian Tire bolts, like regular head bolts like that. When you see an old bike like this and it's got all the factory bolts everywhere, even like look in the water pump, all the factory bolts on everything, all the way around, even on this side. See, got those factory bolts. That's a good sign, man. On these old bikes, just as I say that, I see one mismatched bolt there, but that's okay. I'll take one. On these older bikes, they've been apart so many times that people strip threads out on the cases, and you'll see mismatched junk bolts everywhere. I've seen stacks of washers so that it actually grabs the threads before the threads they pulled out. But this bike appears to have literally every factory bolt in it except that one there, which is super nice. I'm actually impressed. Overall, like, it looks kind of gross and dirty right now, but it's actually decent. Like, the frames are not snapped and welded in weird places. The wheel bearings, I felt them. They actually feel good. The swing arm bearings feel good. It's really not bad. All right, guys, my ADD's at an all-time high. I got too many things on the go. I got the pipe on the go. I pulled the air filter out. I want to clean the airbox. While I'm doing that, I just cleaned a bunch of stuff off the engine, and I just finished the carb and the ultrasonic and got it all back together. Look at this thing. Like, look how good the ultrasonic makes this thing look. This thing is from 1994, so it looks that good. It almost looks brand new. Anyways, I'm going to throw that back in the bike. I'm going to clean this airbox out because this airbox pretty filthy inside, pretty gross. So we're going to clean all the gross muck and stuff out of there. We're going to oil this filter because it's not oiled. And I'd like to get the carb and the airbox back on. And then I'm going to start dealing with this chain and moving the tire and cutting the chain to suit it. All right, we've made some progress here. I can't even remember where I was at the last part. This is the next day now, but I got the carb back on, the airbox on, cleaned it all out, oiled up that oil filter, ended up chopping the silencer. So I'll show you this. So here's what it originally was, had this extra length welded to it. We chopped it for two reasons. One, because first of all, it's not the right silencer for the bike. I'm sure it works fine, but it's not the right one anyway, so I don't even feel bad about chopping it. But two, it stuck way out past the number plate and looked really awkward. And three, it'll sound a lot better. So I would have rather had it like an inch, maybe two longer. But once this side panel's on, take a look. So it's going to sit about there. It exits just perfect, so I'm okay with it. Their exhaust joints they had leaked everywhere, and it's not the correct stuff. So I ended up notching the silencer and compressing it so it's a little tighter fit. RTV'd everything. Put these rad hoses. Hopefully they don't melt. I've had luck with them before. I find like if you don't have a joint that leaks super bad, they're no problem. But if you're putting it over like a blatant bad leak, you just melt these. So we'll see what happens. If it melts, it melts. If it doesn't, we're good. So yeah, I'm going to put that side panel back on. Actually, I'm not, because I got to clean the seat still, and then I have to take the seat off. Anyways, there's where we're at with the exhaust. We're going to fire this thing up and see how this exhaust sounds. Might as well listen to it quick. And I want to get it warmed up too so I can drain the oil out of this thing. So we're going to fire it up, see if we got any leaks, see how it sounds, check for any coolant leaks, anything like that. We're going to let it idle for a couple of minutes. We'll bring her back in, change the oil. So let's see. This thing normally starts really good, so it wouldn't surprise me if it started in one or two kicks, but we'll see. Maybe I'm just jinxing it now. Not bad. See, it feels very rich, but we'll see how it is when it gets warm. about with the plastics here. She's pretty cooked. She's falling apart. So it doesn't want to idle at all. It does seem to be revving out. I don't know. It's kind of running okay. It doesn't have any power, but it's a 125, so. Ah, see, it's more responsive now. Yeah, she don't want to idle. Something's going on there. We'll have to figure that out. But it seems to run okay. It runs okay. Doesn't have a lot of power there. I think we need to play with that air screw a little bit. Oh, what do we got going on here? Oh, all the chain oil I put on it all over the place. Nice. Okay.
1 week later.
All right, so it's been like a week here. I've been picking away at it. I kind of forgot where we were at or where I left off, but I know I went for a little ride and the clutch wasn't working. I ended up taking all the plates out. I measured all the plates, all the springs. They actually seemed fine. The basket was a little grooved. Not terrible, like I've seen a lot worse, but it was grooved enough. So I filed the basket a little bit, and I'm going to play with the adjustment on this arm. I think we'll be able to get it to work because it did work before, but like just to say not enough to be good, but it kind of worked. So I think between doing the basket and maybe a little adjustment on that arm, I think we're going to get it. What else did I do here? To be honest, I don't remember. But anyway, I'm just going to start reassembling this stuff, and we're going to get her back together, and we're going to try it out. Oh, one thing I noticed too, when I was driving it, I don't know if you could hear, but I was saying, man, this thing's pretty slow. It must be just a 125 thing though. Yes, but when I had this clutch cover off, because I took this off, the power valve linkage was connected to the power valve, and there's a little arm in here that the bottom of the power valve linkage connects to, and it was completely popped off that arm. So the power valve was just kind of hanging down there. So the power valve would have never opened. That'll create a pretty substantial loss in power at higher RPMs when it's supposed to be open. So it'll have a lot more sauce to it, I guess, once we get this thing going again. But give me some time and I'll start tossing this back together. Okay, so it's about a month later. Like, I'm just starting to edit this video now. And you know, when you see me talking in a video like a month later, but in the middle of the video, you know I screwed up. I seem to do this a lot. But how do I explain this? I'm trying to remember where we're at in the video. I think I just talked about how I found the power valve linkage was loose in the bottom, so the power valve was basically never hooked up on that first ride. Played around with the clutch, got the whole bike back together. So I went and took it for a ride with the power valve now hooked up, and it actually ran like awesome, like pulled really good. It ran great. And that's the clip, of course, that I lost, you know, like kind of the most important one for the video, you know, it driving good. But yeah, I lost it. And normally I blame this on the GoPro because it's usually the GoPro's fault. But I'm going to put in what I do have of the clip, and what you can clearly see is me literally shutting off the GoPro as I turn onto the street to go do the good pull on it. I don't know why I was already recording. I guess I thought that I wasn't recording and I was turning it on, but in fact, I was recording and I turned the video off. So anyways, you're going to see me shutting the video off like an idiot. Sorry, I lost the only video of it running really well, but it's kind of similar to the first one, but just running a lot better. So yeah, I shut the video off, and then the next part of the video I have is me after I got back, and I'm talking about how well it ran, which you obviously aren't going to see. But anyways, I'm sorry I screwed up again. Carry on with the video. You know what? It's actually running pretty good now. It's running pretty good, boys. Not bad. I'm impressed. All right. Yeah, man. I'm thoroughly impressed. It runs better than I thought. Well, it's another few days later, and look what just came in the mail. Okay, so yeah, got the new plastics in, which I didn't think were going to be in yet. I was going to make this a 2-part video, but I guess it's going to be a 1-part video now. So let's throw these on. The decals, unfortunately, I have these same factory decals here, which are kind of screwed up, but I bought new ones. Those aren't in yet, but at least the new plastics are. So we'll do the old finger snap, and it'll look like a much newer bike. Ready to boat. That's it on the RM. Sorry, it's kind of windy out here. It might be hard to hear me, but that's going to be it on this bike. She's all done. Turned out pretty nice. Got the new plastics, got the new decals on. It's been like a month since well, maybe not a month, but a few weeks since I've recorded the last part. I was waiting on these decals before I filmed it, but it turned out really good. It actually looks really nice for being how old it is. Unfortunately, there won't be much more on this, as it's supposed to be sold tomorrow. Someone's supposed to be coming to get it. So I'm going to take that money and put it towards a 250 like I originally planned on trying to get out of this thing. So that's it on this bike, but overall it turned out good. Nothing major, just a quick cleanup, new plastics, decals. What do we do? I almost forget now. It's been like a month since I started this video, maybe more. Little carb clean, stuff like that. Turned out pretty good. Runs well, works pretty good, pretty quick. I'm impressed. So if you like this video anyway, leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about it. Let me know if you want to see more dirt bike stuff, less dirt bike stuff. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. And that's going to be it for this video. That's the RM, and we'll see you on another video. See you later. Hey! Subscribe to the channel.